This is the solution video for section 9.4, problem number 4. All right, so limit as x approaches 0 of the sine of x minus x over the tangent of x minus x. All right, so first step obviously is kind of informal. Plug in 0. So sine of 0 is 0 minus 0 over tangent of 0, which is 0 minus 0. So of course 0 over 0. All right, so then we need to make sure that we can state that the sine of x minus x and the tangent x, not tax, tangent of x minus x are continuous and differentiable at x equals 0. All right, so once that is true, then we want to state that the limit as x approaches 0 of the sine of x minus x would be 0, and the limit as x approaches 0 of the tangent x minus x is 0. So if that is true, then the limit as x approaches 0 of the sine of x minus x over the tangent x minus x is going to be equal to, according to L'Hopital's rule, the limit as x approaches 0 of, well, all right, what is the derivative of sine? That's cosine x minus the derivative of x, which is 1, over the derivative of tangent is secant squared x minus 1, right? So now, of course, we would reevaluate. Cosine of 0 is 1 minus 1 is 0 over secant of 0, which is 1 minus 1 is 0. Right? So what does that mean? Well, that means that we can use L'Hopital's rule again. Now, of course, we would need to say the cosine of x minus 1 is continuous and differentiable. Secant squared of x minus 1 is continuous and differentiable. Therefore, L'Hopital's rule applies. So the limit as x approaches 0 up. All right, what's the derivative of cosine? Negative sine of x minus 0, right? Over derivative of secant squared, that would be 2 secant x times the derivative of secant, which is secant x tangent x. And then, of course, minus the derivative of 1, which is 0. All right, and so then we have this. So what we would want to do is we would want to realize the tangent is sine x over cosine x. And so the sine x's would reduce, leaving me with the limit as x approaches 0 of negative 1 over, I have 2 secant x times 1 over cosine, which is another secant. So I'd have 2 secant cubed of x. All right, and so then I would reevaluate with x equals 0. So I would get negative 1 over 2 times secant cubed of 0. Secant of 0 is 1. So 1 cubed. So we get 2. So negative 1/2 would be the value.